wanna be a ghost, but you pushed me over.
Let's talk about the basics, because I feel like a lot of times we get so caught up in the pre-poo for 5,000 years and do this treatment and do that treatment and then do this and then do that and plop your hair. Y'all, you gotta start with the basics. You gotta start with the basics. And I understand why a lot of people are so stressed out, because in a lot of ways, we make natural hair seem harder than it needs to be. And understand that a lot of the people that you watch on YouTube have had natural hair for a while. They've been in their journeys for a while. And so when it comes to not just, not wanting to be bored with your hair, but also creating content, you really are really digging in there to try to find something that's new, something that's fresh. And for a lot of you guys who, even if you have been natural for years, a lot of you guys are like, I really don't think I'm seeing the results that I could be seeing because I don't have a regimen. I'm not consistent. And the consistency is key. Consistency is going to be way more important than just the products, just the ingredients. I think a lot of people are more hellbound on being ingredient snobs than they are hellbound on being consistent with their regimens, which is why they're still not seeing results. A lot of people are out here putting everything on the planet in their hair and swearing it works, when in actuality, the results you're probably seeing are way more because you're finally being consistent, trying to see if this method works, than it is the method itself. You see what I'm saying? Because consistency is always going to be the most important. This was something that my stylist really beat into my head when I went natural, because she was very supportive in my going natural, and she wanted me to have the building blocks for success. So first things first, before we get into the basics of your regimen, I think it's really important to pick a style, especially if you are a new natural. And this is one of the few places that I think hair type comes into play, because sometimes we don't have realistic expectations of what an actual style is going to look like on your hair. If hair type had so much to do with products, we wouldn't see so many people on YouTube with different hair using the same stuff, okay? But I really do feel like when it comes down to particular styles, looking at people's videos who have similar hair types to you is actually very helpful, because it's going to give you an idea of how your style may lay, especially if they have a similar density to you, or their strands are as coarse or as fine as yours. It will kind of give you a general idea of what you may be working up to with that finished product. And so I say pick a style because a lot of times it does take time to perfect a style, but quite often in a general day for most people, you don't have time to be sitting around doing 11 different styles to your hair. You just don't. That is a privilege that a lot of us people who are on YouTube have that the general natural hair community doesn't. And so pick a style that you really either want to master or that you really enjoy for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is, just pick one. And when you're picking that style, take all of those factors that I just listed into account. So for me, there's a reason why you always see wash and goes on my channel. It's because it is the most low manipulation style for my hair. Now that I have gotten to a point where I'm learning my hair more, I am enjoying styles on my blown out hair more, but they do require more mechanical manipulation in the long run. And on a regular day when we're not, still in partial quarantine mode and things like that, I would be at work sweating, and those styles wouldn't last in my hair. If I do a twist out and I go to work, it lasts for a day. But if I do a twist out and I'm at home, it lasts for 4. You see what I'm saying? So if you are someone who works a desk job and your hair doesn't really last if you're doing a lot of physical labor, then that's great, because you may be able to handle doing twist outs and braid outs and going to work and your hair looks the exact same it did when you showed up to work. But for someone like me who does something more physical, if you're working in agriculture, things of that nature, if you're working on a line, you're probably not going to be able to hold the same styles that other people do. For me, once I was able to master my wash and goes and see what worked for me and understand my hair more, wash and goes became far less manipulation for me. And I have seen the results from doing them. Y'all saw in my Bantu knot video, my hair is almost touching my butt when it's completely stretched. So I'm seeing the results in that. I'm not gonna try to fix something that ain't broke, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't experiment. But on your day-to-day regimen, you need to pick something that works the best for you based on those different factors that I just listed. Pick a style that you really want to focus on. That style may have to change. You may work that style into your regimen and realize something's not working, and that's fine, and you may have to switch it up. But it's always good to know what style you're going to go into working on first. Now, the things that you need to do to keep your hair up. Listen, I've said it time and time again, I'm gonna have a video on build up. I filmed one and I really just don't like the footage of it. Like, it just, the whole vibe in that video just won't right. So I'm gonna redo it. But if you're not cleansing your hair, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If you're not cleansing your hair, then you are leaving yourself way more prone to product buildup. You are leaving yourself prone to scalp issues because your scalp is very important when it comes to healthy hair growth as well. When you're not cleansing your hair, you are not getting any of the good benefits of all these great products that y'all are using because your hair is dirty. You can't get optimal moisture. You can't get optimal elasticity. You can't get the best out of your treatments if you are never washing your hair. Cleansing is so important. It is so important, and as naturals, we tend to run away from it. And I will just say this, guys, understand that regardless of what our ancestors was doing, we are living in 2020. We are living on a dirty planet. We are living with holes in the ozone. We are living with cars. We are living with buses. We are living with trains. We are living with coal ash. We are living with so much pollution in our environment. And you have that on top of what tends to be very heavy products that we put on our hair. These things exist for a reason, so that we can maintain the health of our hair and our scalp. You need to be washing your hair. If you're putting gel, oil, leave-in, cream, butter, or whatever all over your strands, you need to wash it out. This is always my method. If you wouldn't pay someone to do it, then why would you do it at home? If you went and got your hair done and they didn't actually clean your hair, would you pay them? If you left the salon with a dirty head, would you pay them? I think the majority of you are probably saying no right now. If you wouldn't pay them to leave your hair dirty, then don't leave your hair dirty at home. Okay. I always suggest, especially if you are new to being natural, you need to shampoo at least once every week or once every 2 weeks. And that just depends on how dirty your scalp and your hair gets. As you start to understand how your hair is responding, you can add a co-wash, you can add a clay wash, or, things like that. But shampooing is really going to be the key. A lot of you have asked for a video all about shampoo. I'm working on it. I got you. I promise. Next, conditioning and or deep conditioning. There's a lot of debate about whether you need to condition and deep condition, or just deep conditioning. I say do what feels the best for you. There are a lot of days where I will just shampoo and go straight to deep conditioning, but there are also some days where my hair is very tangled. You guys know I have very tight corkscrew curls. Sis could have a lock journey in 2.5 if she really wanted to. My hair be trying to lock up all the time. I mean, y'all see that. That means I tend to get tangles. So there are often days where I'll shampoo, especially if I use something that was super duper clarifying. I will go in with a rinse out conditioner after to detangle my hair before I go in with a deep conditioner. Now, If you have a super slippery deep conditioner, you may not feel the need to do that. For me, I don't necessarily only look for slip when it comes to my deep conditioners. I have a lot of deep conditioners that do amazing work that aren't high up there on the slip department. And if, listen, if you making my hair feel like butter and angels and Jesus himself, if you're making my hair feel like it touched the hem of Jesus' garment, I'm not going to be mad at you if you don't have a lot of slip. But I do tend to like to do a conditioning session first, and then I'll go in with a deep conditioner. But there are often a lot of times too where if I'm using a shampoo that is not extremely clarifying, or if I'm using something a little bit more gentle, I will just go straight into deep conditioning because I don't feel like I really need to do a lot in the detangling process. I generally suggest at least try to deep condition once a week, especially if you have certain issues going on with your hair. So if you are transitioning, you really want to try to baby that line of demarcation where your relaxed ends and your natural ends meet. And so deep conditioning with something that is moisture protein balance is going to be very helpful. I suggest doing that at least once a week. And I will link my balanced deep conditioners video in the cards. There is a wide range of deep conditioners from affordable to, you know, high end in that video. So there's lots of options there for you guys to choose from. Depending on those different factors that we talked about at the beginning of the video, you may have to maneuver how much you deep condition and how often you shampoo. And that is all up to the factors that you have when everything boils down to it. So, like I said, it really is up to you how you choose to mix conditioning and deep conditioning. Back when I started transitioning, I was just conditioning, and then eventually I worked up to conditioning, deep conditioning every time I shampooed, and deep conditioning once a month. And then once I had the opportunity and I really started to see the benefits, I went from once every 2 weeks, and then went from that to once every week. And that was just me maneuvering my schedule. So do what works for you. I feel like if you're dealing with like serious issues, deep conditioning is a really good way to amp up your routine and see a lot more benefits. But if you are someone who is so busy that you don't have time to sit underneath a deep conditioning cap for 30 minutes every time you clean your hair, then just work that out accordingly. I promise you, if you don't deep condition, your hair is not going to fall out, okay? You are not going to die if you don't deep condition. I suggest it because I do see the benefits in it. But if you got time constraints, boo-boo, your hair gonna be just fine. Don't let people make you think. Listen, the same people out here talking about I'm so adamant about deep conditioning. If you're not deep conditioning, then you're not doing hair right, are the same people that have been walking around with heat damage for the last like 6 years. Do what you need to do, okay? And then of course, once all of that is done, that is your base moisture, that is your base conditioning. It is time to install your moisture and your hydration. This comes in the way of leave-in conditioners, creams, all that good stuff, things that have conditioning, moisturizing, hydrating properties. This gets a little muddied in the community because I feel like at this point, when it comes to the names of products, we really do, it's basically playing a game of semantics at this point, right? The original intention of a leave-in conditioner is to improve the condition of your hair. That is what a conditioner is. So it's going to have some moisturizing properties, it's going to have some hydrating properties, but it's also going to have properties that help to improve the condition of your hair. This often comes in the way of proteins, amino acids. You may see a lot of leave-ins will have like silk amino acid, or they'll have light proteins like baobab protein. Those are there to help improve the condition of your hair. They will have some moisturizing properties, but they are not going to give you the same effect as using a thick, heavy, creamy moisturizer. Those moisturizers are there to be used. Oftentimes when you read the directions on a moisturizer, they're meant to be used daily. They're going to be heavier in the butter and the oil content than a leave-in conditioner. I always suggest having a leave-in conditioner that is going to be very penetrative to the hair, that is going to be easy to maneuver through the hair, whether it's something that's a spray, a cream, or whatever. It's very important to have something like that because that is going to be that initial installation of your hydration and moisture, and it's going to have something in there that is going to help boost your hair. Now, you're going to have to play with different products to see what your hair likes the most. So you want to make sure that you're doing that, and you're going to have to decide how many times a week you are going to do that. Of course, then you want to go in with your styler of choice, and you need to make sure you are picking a styler that is conducive to your choice in hairstyle and also conducive to the different factors that we discussed above. Some things that are very, very rich in glycerin may not work if you're living in like Louisiana, you know? But glycerin doesn't always affect everyone in the same way. For me, for the most part, glycerin causes my curls to really tighten up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to get strength in my styles. And that's something that you have to analyze as you continue to try products throughout your journey. So when you're doing that installation, that initial installation of moisture and installing your style, you're going to have to work that around your hair routine. You're going to have to work that around those days that you have that time. So for me, I am styling my hair twice a week. At the beginning of the week is when I shampoo. I tend to use lighter products. So like my She Scented, my Curl Origins, my Unicurl, my Adwoa, I will use at the beginning of the week. At the end of the week, I'm typically co-washing. I will use something that may be a little bit heavier. Sometimes I don't, it just depends, you know. But if I want to use a heavier product, I will use it on that day that I co-washed. One, because when you have lighter products in your hair, it's a lot easier to co-wash them out without having to worry about the products you're putting on after that co-washing mixing with anything that is on your hair. They're a lot easier to clean out gently. So when I go in with heavier products after I co-wash, that way I can still use my products that I love that are heavier, but I know that they're gonna get shampooed out at the end of the week. And so I don't have to worry about those products potentially affecting whatever I put on my hair next. And that's how I prefer to do my wash days and my regimen. So I'm styling twice a week. I'm doing a heavy cleanse at the beginning of the week and a gentle cleanse in the middle of the week. And that usually gets me straight, and it gives me fluidity in how I style my hair, but it also gives me fluidity in creating content for you guys as well. And the thing I like about doing that too is that if I put something in my hair and it doesn't work, it also gives me the freedom to go ahead and do whatever I need to do, whether put it in a puff, a bun, or just rewash it. I still have that wiggle room, you know what I mean? Those are the basics of your regimen. Like I said, as you continue to find what you like and the things that you enjoy, you can add more treatments and things of that nature if that's what you want to do. I don't pre-poo every week. I only pre-poo if like I've been laid out from a flare-up for 2 weeks and I've barely touched my hair. Then I pre-poo, because putting shampoo on it is gonna be a struggle, right? If it's been 2 weeks since I've been able to touch my hair, and you guys know that I wash and go. So if I'm wash and go, I'm laying around with my hair in a bun for 2 weeks. Clearly, I'm gonna have some tangles, right? Don't pre-poo every week. I pre-poo maybe once a month. Really just depends. Some days I just feel like it and I'll pull out my favorite pre-poos because that's what I like. Clay treatments. Clay treatments are great, especially if you live in areas with hard water, because like I said before, they are going to be attracted to those minerals. I highly suggest looking up those different clays and doing your research on what minerals they attract, but don't just completely nix actually cleansing your hair, because that clay is only going to target specific things. Also, refreshing is very important. I think I'm gonna do a video on refreshing as well. Y'all let me know if that's something that you would like to see. But refreshing is something that is going to be important depending on what style that you do, especially if you lead a very active lifestyle. You may need to refresh more than somebody else. For me, My typical refreshing is just taking a little bit of oil when I take my hair out in the morning, and I just rub it across my strands and I fluff and I'm good to go. But there may be some days where I want to stretch a style and I will add a liquid leave-in or refresher spray to my hair to help plump the curls back up and to reactivate whatever gel or styling product is on my hair. For those of you who do twist outs, bantu knots, etc., you may need to retwist in the middle of the week. These days that I've been doing those bantu knots and things on blown out hair, I will wear them out for a couple of days and then I will just retwist in the middle of the week, wear them out for a couple of more days, and then shampoo. So I can go a whole week without having to get underneath the faucet, right? It all depends on your day and how that style holds in your hair. So refreshing is very important too. I like to make sure that I have at least one refresher for my hair in the event that I do want to refresh in the middle of the week, and something for my scalp as well. I've shared several of those things in videos with you guys. But yeah, that is the basic breakdown of how I develop a regimen, the things that I consider, and the things that I think you guys should consider too. Just some resources. Kenya from Power in Your Curl here on YouTube does do personal consulting for hair care. So if you need someone that's like, that can actually give you pinpointed advice specifically on your hair, she does it. She doesn't do it for free. If you need that level of advice and that level of help, that's someone that you definitely need to talk to. Also, remember too that I am someone that deals with a lot of internal issues. And so if you are dealing with a disease that does affect your hair, you need to talk to your doctor about it. If you have certain internal issues, whoever you seek advice from, if it's, you know, holistic medicine or if it's your general doctor, practitioner, whatever, you need to be speaking to them, because if they don't know that you're having issues with your hair, if they don't know that you see your hair thinning out, then they can't help you and they can't give you advice. Also, if you have medical issues, you can't just take anything under the sun, right? You don't know what's going to react with your medication. And so before I take a vitamin, I always consult my doctor. The medication that I'm on is relatively new. And so I discuss that with him before I take it so that I know it's not dampening the effects of the medication that is keeping my disease at bay. Always consider those things. So if you do have medical issues that you think are affecting your hair, or you see thinning that definitely doesn't seem normal, then you need to reach out to, you know, a medical professional. Also, there are some things that you really do want to reach out to a stylist for, because they also have a lot of information that can help you as well. They can give you a consultation and also help to provide you a regimen that's going to help you with the basic maintenance and upkeep of your hair throughout the week. Also, one of my favorite new things right now is the Kinde subscription. The subscription is back up for pre-order, and I am actually featured in the first round. So here I am. That's me. This is my preliminary copy. Mine is not the official one, but here I am. But I love the Kinde subscription because they ask you a lot of targeted questions, many of which I acknowledged in this video. And that's one of the reasons why I really believe in them, because they really focus on education. And so when you get your zine, when you get your box, it's going to give you all these different resources here to kind of build your regimen, whether you want a weekly regimen, a bi-weekly regimen, or a monthly regimen. And the great thing about this box is that when you sign up, it's going to ask you very pointed questions about your hair. Many of the things that I acknowledge here, it's going to ask you about your climate. It's going to ask you about the water in your area. It's going to ask you about the type of work that you do in your physical activity. It's going to ask you all of those things, and it is going to give you a specific edition for your, not only your hair type and your hair needs, but the needs that work around the environment that you live in your day to day. And so based on all the things that they know about me, they sent me the Naughty by Nature package. So I will be sharing just a video with you guys about Kinde so you guys can see what I got, because it is amazingly accurate, like super duper accurate. But the first zine is about building your regimen, and so I highly suggest looking into Kinde, checking out that quiz. Everything that they sent me perfectly builds around the regimen that I have. So yeah, those are some other things that I would suggest to you guys to try out, some resources. I will leave a link to Kenya's channel down below if you do think that that is something that you may need. But do remember, only reach out to her if you're serious, because that is a lot of hard work and dedication that requires. And so if it's something that you really need, please do reach out to her. But if it's not something that you're serious about, so yeah, that is my video on Regimen. I know that this was long, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys all of the information that you need. If you have any questions about like how I do my regimen, I do have a week in my hair video, which I will link up here as well. Anything that I feel will be helpful to you guys in relation to this topic, I will link in the cards or in the description box below. I will also leave a link to Kenya's channel, and I will leave a link for the Kinde subscription. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you to so many of you who requested it. I do have a fragrance video coming up, so those of you who suggested it, I would really appreciate if you watch it, comment, like it, all that good stuff, engage, because that lets me know that you want to see more. So I will see you guys in that video. I love you. Bye.